you can use, where on Google Maps you can position the user. You have a little slider to indicate the search range that you want to use, and then it will actually contact your URL, provide all the input parameters, and then you can check what the output is, and it will show the results on the map, so you can see, hey, is this actually what I was expecting as an output? So you can do that without actually installing the layer application or having a mobile device. Of course, you can also use the layer client on your device to go to your specific development layers. So before they are published and available to everybody, your layers will show up in the client, so you can actually walk around and see what information is available. Of course, it's a little bit harder to test because this would mean you'd have to walk around town to actually see different input parameters and how your application reacts. So normally, most of the testing will be done on the API test stage. Step number 4, you need to publish your layer. And this is where it gets a little Apple-like. Basically, your layer needs approval from the people from layer. So in the web on the developer side, you indicate that you want to request publication. So this is the nice flow that they have. Basically, after you've been testing your layer, you request publication, then you wait. They will check a number of things. For example, they will check that your text is readable. If you've been playing with different colors, and the text is actually readable. They will also check when you indicate, for example, in my initial version of since I have data for Flanders and parts of the Netherlands, I indicated, I didn't want to pick one of the 2 countries, so I indicated that my layer was available worldwide. They said to me, no, you can't do that because people will be disappointed if somebody in another country picks your layer, they won't see any data, so that's not good. We suggest that you split your layer in 2 parts. I said, no, I don't want to do that, so I simply point to note. So you get some feedback going back and forth, but basically after a couple of days, it gets approved, and then you decide when you click on the button to really publish the layer, and that means that it will automatically show up in all the layer clients installed on the mobile device. They have a whole workflow if you want to freeze or delete the layer, etc. etc. So there is some reviewing going on. They have some criteria defined, and they're explained on the website. There's nothing that's too bad. So this is what my layer looks like. So you have the image of the camera. In this case, you see that I'm here close to a bridge where there's bicycle roads. And you see in the upper right-hand corner there are 4 dots indicating that there are four results were found. And the big green dot is one of the points. It's actually pretty close. It's a very big dot. You could click on that, see a list of the actions, and you could interact with the point of interest. Of course, there's some built-in actions available. For example, there's automatically a link to Google Maps or the mapping application, so that you can say, hey, I want to go to that point right now. I mean, if you click on it, you see it's 1.1 kilometers away. You can say, I want to get directions to that specific point that's integrated in the layer client application. Some additional information, there is some very basic tracking information available on the developer side. If you're interested in how many people are using my layer, they have some one page that shows analytics, but it's barely usable. They show this graph where I think that the rows are actually week numbers. I don't know what was week 1. Currently we're in week 71. They show unique visitors and total views. I'm a little bit surprised that unique visitors is almost 50% of the total views, so it's kind of useless. I mean, they should put some more effort in there so that people can understand who is actually using their layer. Or of course, what you can do is do some logging on your end. You get in your web application call, you get a lot of parameters. You could of course do the logging on your server as well. There are some advanced functions that I didn't use, but these are available. For example, there is a layer intent, which means you can open a layer from within your own application. If you have another app running on the mobile device, you can ask layer to automatically open a specific layer in the client application. There's a possibility in the most recent version to do 3D points of interest. So basically, you can have your 3D models that will be shown on top of the camera view. You can define filters. For example, if you say, let's say that if you have created a layer that shows fast food, you could have a filter that says, I want to see only the pizza places or the hamburger joints or only the fit building, for example. So you could integrate that. There is some functionality for layer signing and authentication. I never used that. And in the latest version, version 3, they opened up a whole store where you can actually charge money for your layer content. So they're trying to set up this in-layer payment system where you buy augmented reality information on your mobile device. That's what I want to explain. So my experience is it's fairly easy to create a layer with some augmented reality. Unfortunately, I haven't seen a lot of people do that here in Belgium. But from a technical point of view, it's very, very straightforward, actually. As long as you have the data to share. Any questions? Yes, Steph.
Steph, kun je de micro pakken, anders hoor ik u niet.
To what degree is it possible to overlay the entire visual input? So not use the camera, but another maybe virtual layer. I'm thinking about mixing some kind of street view. Android is also with the layer stuff to actually layer the virtual world on top of the physical one.
I think you can achieve that by using the 3D functionality. Basically what you have then is that your points of interest are not just simple points on a map, but they're actually small 3D models that will be rendered on the map. But the developer documentation already warns, be very careful with the number of points that you have in your 3D map, because the devices are not powerful enough to have like whole 3D worlds. So that's something for the future. But the basic functionality is there.
Yeah, I was thinking of just a 2D layer, you want to get maps to the sphere.
They don't have that built in. They don't have that built in, as far as I know.
How about indoors?
Indoors, well, yeah, the problem of course is that the quality of the information that you get from layer depends on the quality of your compass and on your location signal. So if you have a very poor GPS reception, or if your GPS is turned on and is using the wireless antennas to get your position, that means that your accuracy will be something like 1 kilometer. But in your web application, you can take that into account. You might say, look, if you're giving me a position, but the accuracy is 1 kilometer, then I'm not even going to give you any information because it's totally useless. It's up to the provider of the data to decide what you want to do. But of course, indoors, GPS for safety.
Is there any interaction with Google Earth? Because Google Maps and Google Earth, they're both the same company, but Google Earth provides more 3D and more visual information.
As far as I know, the only integration that they have with the Google products is that they have a standard action that says, show this in the mapping application, and whatever that is that you have installed on your device. But I think if you install both, on Android, if you have Google Maps and you install Google Earth, that whenever an application asks, show this on a map, that you get to choose which application you want to use. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it works like that on Android. Not sure about iPhone.